Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, back with some more digital marketing advice. Now in today's video, continuing with a recent theme of answering common questions about digital marketing, especially from the perspective of business owners who might be given reports by a digital agency or freelancer or in-house specialist or whatever, and you're looking at the report and thinking, man, what does this term mean? So in today's video, the question we're looking at is what CPM means in digital marketing. So you might be given reporting from, say, a Google Ads campaign or Facebook ad campaign or any other type of campaign where you're given a CPM figure. So you think, what does CPM actually mean? Basically, CPM is a measure of the cost per impression. What it actually stands for is cost per 1,000 impressions, and the M comes from, I think it's a Latin term, mille, so M-I-L-L-E, which is basically a way of expressing 1,000. So it's just a term that's come into fruition and use, meaning cost per 1,000 impressions. So if you've got a CPM of say 5, what that means is for every 1,000 impressions, so 1,000 sort of eyeballs on your ad, it's costing you $5, right? And CPM is going to vary massively depending on the platform that you're advertising on. So on some of those junkier native traffic ad platforms that you can get that show ads on the bottom of articles on second-rate news sites, you can have very cheap CPMs. Platforms like Facebook ads, you can often get some pretty cheap CPMs, although they have been increasing typically over time. On the other hand, something like LinkedIn advertising, the CPM can be quite expensive. You might be paying $50, $60, $70, $80 plus CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, because you're trying to reach a very targeted audience with an offer that has the potential to make a lot of money. It kind of stands to reason that LinkedIn's going to charge you more money if you're trying to reach a bunch of astrophysicists, who've got 10 years experience and who, if they sign off on your product that you're selling and purchase it, is going to make your company $1 million, versus if you're trying to sell bulldog charms or pendants or something like that to people on Facebook. There's, typically speaking, the more precise and higher value your audience, the higher the CPM is going to be. Same with CPC or cost per click. It's why cost per click on Google Ads for things like insurance attorney or car crash attorney or anything like that have huge potential sale values, the cost per click tend to be really, really high. But if you're being sent a report or you're seeing people referring to CPM and you're wondering what that means, basically think of it as a metric or a gauge that measures how much it's costing you to get impressions on your ads. Doesn't refer to clicks or engagement or anything like that. It's just a measure of the cost getting eyeballs, specifically the cost of getting 1,000 eyeballs or impressions on your ad. And so generally speaking, all factors being equal, if you can bring your CPM down, that's a good thing. So if you're running, say, Google display ads and you're getting a $10 CPM, and then you can keep the targeting as good quality and the traffic as good quality, but you bring your CPM down to $9, then you're going in the right direction. But don't be too caught up in CPM in and of itself, unless that's the only metric you're interested in looking at, because you want to get as much exposure as possible for dollar. But bear in mind that it's more important to get your ad in front of the right people. And if you have to spend a bit more to get it in front of the right people, if your CPM is higher than you might like, but your CPC is reasonable and your cost per conversion is actually allowing you to make conversions profitably, then I wouldn't get too caught up on the CPM piece. But it's just helpful to know what that means. Oftentimes digital agencies, freelancers and so on can be pretty bad at just throwing figures in your face and saying, hey, you've got a $20 CPM and that's really, really strong compared to the competition. And you might think, well, what does that even mean? Is that a good thing? Why would I care? As far as what a good CPM is, very platform and industry and location dependent. I can't really give you an answer about that. The main thing is to establish that you're targeting the right people first. So as I said earlier, you're always better off to pay more per impression, but get impressions with the right audience than you are to go super, super broad and get dirt cheap junk impressions, unless you've got some amazingly broad offer that appeals to absolutely everybody and is sort of very low in terms of the amount of interaction required to actually turn into a proper conversion or sale. So some businesses, will push for a sort of low CPM and try and get as much presence or awareness as possible, and there are some really valid reasons to do that. But for the types of businesses I work with, I'd always rather see a higher CPM but a better quality of traffic and conversion come through. So yeah, if you're wondering what CPM means, cost per 1,000 impressions, way of measuring basically how much it's costing you to get awareness with your ads. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.